We begin today the Gemara on Daf Ayin Ches Amar Aleph at the Mishnah. Zok Teilige Mishnah, a moicher es a chamoir, a person sells a donkey, loimachar kelov. He hasn't sold along with it its vessels. The Gemara will spell out what kind of vessels we're talking about. Nochom hamoday yomer, machar kelov. He sells the donkey, he does sell the vessels along with it. Rabbi Yehuda says, Pa'amim mechurin, pa'amim eina mechurin. Sometimes when you sell the donkey, the vessels are sold along with it, and sometimes not. It depends what's being said here. If the buyer says, sell me this donkey, why is he adding the word zeh? Hare, I skipped a line something? Sorry, okay. Keitzad, hoya chamer lefanov. How is this? If there was a chamer in front of him, and the kelev olav, and there's the kelim, the vessels on this donkey. And the buyer says, Mecharli chamer chazeh. Sell me this donkey. So why is he saying chamer chazeh? Hare kelev mechurin. He's adding that because he wants to say that the kelim, the vessel, should be sold along with the donkey as well. However, if he says it as a question, he asks the seller, chamer chahu, this is your donkey? So then ain't kelev mechurin. Then the kelim are not sold because there's nothing extra that he's saying here that indicates that he wants to include the kelim as well. He's just simply asking him, is this your donkey? So then it's only the donkey that's sold. So the Gemara Omar Ula explained.
It's only this donkey, this the way it is. And if there's kelim on it,
it's as well. They're included as well. All included, right? So Omar Ula says, Mishnah speaks here about the kelim of the donkey. What are those kelim? So Machlokes, the argument in the Mishnah, the Tanakama and Nocham Amodai, is regarding besak, a sack that comes with the donkey, or diskia, a sack that's on the saddle, a saddle bag, or in the chumni. As we'll see soon, the Gemara will say chumni is a seat that's made for when women ride on the donkey. So that's the machlokes. Those are things that are made to carry things, or for a woman to sit on a donkey, which is not necessarily usual for a woman to ride on a donkey, whether those kelim are included. The Tanakama holds, stam chamor lirkoi, a donkey is made for riding on it, and for a man to ride, not a woman to ride. So therefore these things which are carrying merchandise on the donkey, or a woman to ride, are not going to be included in stam, the sale of a donkey. But Nocham Amadei holds stam chamor lamasikoi, that even a chamor is usually made not only for riding, but also for carrying merchandise on it, and a woman to ride on it. So if you have those kelim as well, they'll be included in the sale. However, the saddle, umardas, and the saddle cloth, kilkili, a harness, and the chavak, and the saddle, how do they touch chavak? The strap, the rest strap of this saddle, that everybody agrees will be sold, because those are the things that are needed for riding on the donkey, and that everybody agrees that riding on the donkey is what the donkey is made for. So the buyer is buying the donkey to ride on it, so those kelim will be included in the sale even without saying anything.
Even if it's not attached.
That the one is going to discuss soon. What we're talking about over here in the Mishnah, if it's on it or not on it. Okay, so the Gemara asks on this pshat of Ula. Meisvei, it says in the Braise, Chamoir v'kelov ani meichaloch. If a person spells out and says clearly, I'm selling you the donkey with the vessels. Hareze machar esa uchev, esa mardas, esa kilkili, esa chavak. Then we say that these kelim that are made for riding, the saddle cloth, and the harness, and the other thing that are all made for the riding on it, then they'll be sold. But the other things, which are the bags, the saddle bag, or what's made for a woman to ride on, that will not be included. But when the seller says that everything and everything that's on it, or maybe the buyer says I'm buying it and everything that's on it, then everything will be included, including those kelim that are made for carrying merchandise or carrying a woman on it, even though it's not usually what it's made for. So what do you see here in this brayse? Here it's spelling out clearly that he said, and I'm selling you chamor v'kelov. He spelled it out clearly. So it's mashma, from here you see that taimed amalei chamor v'kelov. The reason why these kelim, which are made for riding, are included in the sale, it's only because he said clearly that the vessel should be included. Hudekani uchev umardas. That's why the saddle and the saddle cloth are included. Holei amalei hachi. But if the seller does not clearly say that I'm selling you the chamor and the kelim, so it will not be included in the sale. All is said, though, that in the Mishnah, we say that everybody agrees that those things that are made for riding are automatically included in the sale. So the Gemara answers that no, it's not a question over here. Okay, the Bach over here adds, you have to add another word loy. Okay, because this is the answer now. So the Gemara answer is loy. No, that's not the pshat on this brayse. Who adin? Really, I can tell you that the afagav, like Ula said, that even if the loy amalei chamoir v'kelov, even if he didn't spell out clearly that I'm selling you the donkey and its kalim, so nami uchuv umardas mchurin. The saddle and the saddle bag, or not saddle bag, sorry, the saddle cloth, which is needed to ride on it, they're included in the sale automatically. And why does the Brisa here say that he told him clearly that these things are included? Because v'hal kamashmalon, here the Brisa wants to say a chiddush regarding the sefer. Even when he spells out clearly that I'm selling you the chamayr and its vessels, but nevertheless, the sak and v'diski v'chumni, the saddle bag and the bag and what's made for a woman to ride on, those things, even when you spell out b'ferish loikani, they will not be included in the sale. Now the Gemara teaches the word chumni, my chumni, omer av papa bashmu merkafta denoshi. This is a saddle that's made for women to ride on. Now the Shaila was asked regarding the pshat in the Mishnah. When you have here the machlokes regarding what's included in the sale and not, the kalim, what are we talking about? But oidan olav, we're talking about when those kalim are on the donkey. Machlokes, that's when there's the argument between the Tanakama and Nachum Amadai, whether it's included or not. Avol b'she'enan olav, but when these kalim are not on the donkey, maiduluhu Nachum Amadai, the Nachum Amadai will agree that it's not included in the sale. Oidilme, or perhaps b'she'enan olav machlokes. No, the whole machlokes here is when these kalim are not on the donkey. Avol b'oidan olav, if the kalim are on the donkey, maidle Rabbana l'Nachum, then Rabbana would agree to Nachum that it's included in the sale. Toshema, the Gemara wants to bring a raya from the brayso that we just quoted before. What did it say in the brayso? Bizman sha'omar loi hu v'chol ma sha'olav. When you said that I'm selling you it and everything that's on it. So you spelled out clearly that I'm selling you it and everything that's on it. Harei kulan muchurin. Then I say that it's all going to be included in the sale. All the different kinds of kalim, even those that are not made usually for riding. So now, according to whose opinion is this brayso? Here we're talking about a donkey that has the kalim on it. And the Brisa says that you only acquire all those kalim when you spell out befedish. When you say that that I'm selling you chol masha'alav. So now, if you're going to say that the argument between the Tanakama and the Rabbanon, whether when you sell a chamar stam, whether it includes the kalim as well. So then I could say, Homani Rabbanani. This brayso is going according to the Rabbanon. The Rabbanon hold that when you sell a chamar stam, the kalim that are on it are not included. You have to spell out and say, V'chol masha'olav, then they'll be included. And that's what the brayso here is saying. Even if they're on the donkey, you still have to say, V'chol masha'olav. But if you're going to say the whole argument, whether those kalim are included or not, is only when it's not on the donkey. But when these kalim are on the donkey, you don't have to spell out that they're included. Then they're automatically included. So then, Hamani, who is this brayso according to? This brayso that says that those kalim will only be included if you add and say v'chol masha'olav. Why do you have to say v'chol masha'olav if you'll say that it's automatically included when it's on the donkey? So the Gemara says it's not a raya. La'olam, really I can tell you, b'she'ein oidan olav machlokes. That the argument is when it's not on the donkey. And when it's on the donkey, it's automatically included. And v'rabbanani, this brayse here is going according to the Rabbanon. You just have to amend this brayse. Ve'eme, read the brayse as follows. U'bizman sha'omaloi. When the seller says, "Hu v'choma sheroi liyasalav," if he spelled out to him and says that I'm selling you the donkey, and I also include all those other kalim that are fit to be used on this donkey, even when they're not on the donkey now, then they'll be included. So the argument is actually in the case when einoid and all, and that's the case of this brayse as well. This brayse is not speaking about when they're on the donkey. Over here, it says royal liyasalav because they're not on the donkey itself. Now the Gemara tries to bring a raya from the Mishnah itself. Toshema, what did it say in the Mishnah? The last opinion of the Mishnah was Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, Pamim mechurim, pamim she'enim mechurim. The kalim of the donkey, sometimes they're included in the sale, sometimes not. Now, what did Rabbi Yehuda speak about? In the continuation of what Rabbi Yehuda says, you see that he's clearly speaking about when the kalim are on the donkey. Because he makes it the difference when he says, Chamarcha, says, Ketzad, the Mishnah said, he had a chamar lefana, the kalav olav, the kalim on the donkey, and then it depends what was said. Did the buyer say chamar chazeh, or did the buyer ask a question chamar chahu? But Rabbi Yehuda is clearly talking about a case where the kalim are on the donkey. So now, my love. So don't you think amai the kalma tanakame regarding what the Tanakama was speaking about? Koi Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is following up on that, meaning the Tanakama was also speaking about a case where the Kalim are on the donkey, and the Tanakama is saying that the Kalim are not included, and that Nocham they said that the Kalim are included, and Rabbi Yehuda came to argue and say, regarding that case when it's on the donkey, that it depends what language was used. So we see from the way Rabbi Yehuda says his shitta that the Tanakama and Nocham as well are talking about a case where the Kalim are actually on the donkey. Says the Gemara law, it's not necessarily a raya. Rabbi Yehuda milsa achriti kama. Rabbi Yehuda is saying something else. Even if the Tanakama is speaking about a case, the whole argument between the Tanakama and Nocham Amoda is when it's not on the donkey. But then from the Tanakama you can be medayik that when it is on the donkey, then everybody will agree that it is sold. It's on that then Rabbi Yehuda is coming to argue and saying on the diak of the Tanakama that even when it's on the donkey, it will depend what language was used. So we still don't know. You can still learn this way. The Mishnah, there's no raya from what Rabbi Yehuda is speaking about. Ravina says to Rav Ashi, let's bring a raya from the previous Mishnayos here in this Pedic. What were they talking about? Tashema, the Mishnah said before, Mochas akarin, person sells a wagon, loy mochas aprodes. The mules are not included in the sale of the wagon. Now, what's that Mishnah talking about? As we had already before in the Gemara, Rav Tachlifa bar Marava taught in front of Rabavo a brayso that says the opposite, that Mochas akarin, when you sell a wagon, Mochas apredes, that the mules are included. Now, what's the answer to this contradiction? V'al malei, and Rabavo explained to him, V'al malei, Rabavo asked him, V'ha'anan loy mochatnan. But in the Mishnah it says that the mules are not included in the sale. V'al malei ismei, and Rav Tachlifa asked him, does that mean I should erase this brayso? V'al malei, and Rabavo answered, loy, you don't have to erase it. Tetargem asniteich, you could explain the brayso or the brayso ba'adukim by. That it's speaking about that it's attached, that the mule and the wagon is attached. Then I say that it's included in the sale. So now, Meklal, what do I see from here? The Masnisin, that the Mishnah right before this is the Mishnah right before this Mishnah is in a case where the mule is not attached to the wagon. Okay, so therefore the Gemara says, if by the Reisha it's a case where it's not on it, meaning it's not attached, so therefore it's two separate things. There's the wagon and there's the mules. So Seifanami, so over here in the next Mishnah, when it talks about the donkey and the kalim, it's probably the same like the previous Mishnah where the kalim are not on the donkey. So the Gemara says you can't prove from that Mishnah because Adarab, if you're going to start proving from previous Mishnayos, so then Emeresha, let's go back to a Mishnah earlier on. Over there it said, Avol, when a person sells a boat, loy mochar eloyes avodim, the slaves that work on the boat, v'loyes antiki, or the merchandise that are on the boat are not sold with the boat either. How do we know now? What is this talking about? Avodim and antiki. Are we talking about things that are on the boat or off the boat? V'amrinon, and we asked before the question, my antiki. What does the word antiki mean? And Rav Papa answered, Iske de begavo. It's talking about the merchandise on the boat. Merchandise that's off the boat is not called antiki. It's dafke merchandise that's on the boat. Okay, so now, if so, we can prove the opposite. If a Mishnah before here is talking about a case where the merchandise that it's saying that is not included in the sale, but we're talking about things that are on the boat, so Sefanami Boidan Olav. So if so, for this Mishnah here that we're discussing, the Chamayr and the Kalim is also Kalim that are on the donkey. So we see from the previous Mishnayos, some cases it's talking about when it's on or it's attached, and some cases it's talking about when it's not on. Ella, we can't prove from there anything. Tana, mili katani. The Tana, when he teaches the cases here of sales regarding a boat, regarding a wagon, and now regarding a donkey, each case is separate, so we can't prove anything from the previous Mishnayos. So the Gemara doesn't bring a raya to this shaila. Now, Simin, Zogam, Nosan, this is a simin for the names of 6 different Tanoim that the Gemara is going to say, all say the same point. Amar Abaye said, Rab Eliezer, Rab Shimon Gamliel, Rab Meir, Rab Nosan, V'Sumchiz, V'Nocham Amadai, Kulu Svirulahu, they all hold the same point, that Kimazbin Inish Midi, when a person sells something, it's Iu V'Chol Tashmishtei Mavzin. Mazvin, that is. A person is selling that object with all of the kalim that are needed for its use. So where do we see all these Tanaim? Rabbi Eliezer, the Tanan Rabbi Eliezer is because it said before in the Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer, a person that sells an olive press, Machar es akaira, that heavy kaira, the pole that is what actually presses the olives, the beam that actually presses the olives is sold along with the olive press. That's what it's used for. So we see that the keli is sold with the press. Rav Shimon Gamliel the Tnan, we had in the Mishnah before, Rav Shimon Gamliel Oima, Moiches Seir, a person that sells the whole city, Mochares HaSantar. The Santar is included. We had before a few Pirushim in Santar. Either the Santar is the individual that takes care of the properties, the borders, or the Santar means fields that come along with the cities that you need to use with the city. So you see again that what this use of the Santar with the cities is sold along with the city. Rab Meir, the Tanya, we learned in the Braise, quoted before, Rab Meir, Machas HaKerem, a person that sold a vineyard, Machar Tashmishi HaKerem. The things that are used with the vineyard, those poles that are needed to hold up the vineyard, are also included. And Rab Nassim V'Sumches, we had before, when a person sells a boat, Beitzis V'Dugis, that when you have a large ship, and there are those little boats that are used, whether getting to the port, or whether the small fisherman boats, are also included in the sale. And Nocham Amadai Hodamoran. And Nocham Amadai is the Mishnah here that says that when you sell a donkey, the kalim are sold along with the donkey. Now the Rashbam points out that Abaye is not trying to say that all of these Tanoim really agree to each other in all of these cases. Each one has their own opinion in each one of these cases. Not necessarily do they agree to each other, but nevertheless they're all saying the same point in regarding this case that they're talking about, that whatever you sell, the kalim is sold along with it. Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah said, Pamim Mechurim V'chulu, and in the Mishnah it said, it depends if you say Chamar Chazeh or Chamar Chahu. So the Gemara explains the difference in these Lashonos. Explained already in the Mishnah at this point. So Ma'ishna Chamar Chazeh or Ma'ishna Chamar Chahu. What difference does it make in these two expressions? Amar Rav, so Rav explains, Chamar Chazu, when he's saying Chamar Chazu, this donkey, what the case here is, Yada the Chamre Didehu. The buyer knows that this Chamar belongs to the seller. So v'hai the kamalei zu, the reason he's adding this extra word zu, this, what he's saying is mishum kelov. He's saying this as is, that I want to have, I'm buying this chamar as is with all of its vessels, kamalei. That's what he's saying. Chamar chahu, the term chamar chahu means something else. The layada the chamre dideyu. The buyer doesn't even know, is this the actual donkey? Is this your donkey that you're selling me? This is what the buyer is saying to him. Is this the donkey that you're selling me? So when he adds the word who, he's not saying this as is, that I want the whole thing with all the kalim. He's just asking him, is this the donkey? So therefore it's only the donkey that's sold and not any other kalim. A person that sells a donkey, machar es hasyach. The syach, the young donkey, that comes along with the donkey. It's sold along with it. Machar sapara, a person that sells a cow, loy machar as bana. The child, a young cow, does not come along with the cow. Machar ashpa, a person that sold an area where garbage is stored. Machar zivla, the fertilizer that's there, the zevel of the animals, which is good for fertilizer, that's sold along with the ashpa that was sold. Machar boyer, a person sells a pit. Machar meimel, the water that's being stored in the pit is sold along with the pit. Machar kaveres, you sell a beehive. Machar devaiden, the bees are sold along with the beehive. Machar shayvech, you sell a dovecat. Machar yainim, the doves of this dovecat are included in the sale. The Rashbam points out that obviously the opposite won't be true. If you're selling just zevel, just fertilizer, the whole area where the garbage is kept or where the fertilizer is kept is not included. Or if you sell water, then obviously the pit is not included, and with regarding all other cases as well. So the Gemara goes back to the first case in the Mishnah, selling a donkey or selling a cow, whether the baby is sold along with it. So, and the Mishnah said that it's different. There's a distinction. By the donkey, the baby is included. By the cow, it's not. So the question is, what's the reason for this distinction? Hey chidami, what are we talking about? If, when he sold, he said, I'm selling you it and its child, so then I'll fill a para. Even by the cow, the child should be included. So it should be para o bana. Nami, if he did not say, I'm selling you this chamar, this donkey, or this animal with the child, so then I'll fill a chamar nami loy. By the donkey, the child should not be included either. So what's the Mishnah talking about? Amar Rav Papa. So the case is the Amalei Chamar Minika Upara Minika Animaychalach. The person, the seller uses the expression, I'm selling you a nursing donkey and a nursing cow. Now why is he adding nursing? What's the significance here? So now Bishleim Para, so therefore by the Para we understand why he added nursing. Because he's saying that you can get milk, you can milk this cow. It's a milking cow, a female milk, so you can get milk from this. El Chamar, my kamale. But by the Chamar, why is the seller saying that this is a nursing donkey? You can't drink the milk anyways. So Shmami no, you b'no kamale. That's why what we know. What the reason he's saying this is a nursing donkey because the child comes along to be able to nurse.
Because you can reverse that logic.
Why?
because if it's the calf also needs the milk.
Yeah, but
just like the donkey.
It does, true, but lav daf gets included though. You can say that all he meant is just the fact that you can get milk from it, which we can drink, and that's all that's included. But by the donkey though, you can't drink the milk. So what did he mean by it? So he only meant the child, the baby that comes along. V'amai kari le'siyach. Here the Gemara asks in Lashon Kodesh, why is the baby of the chamoy referred to as a siyach? What does that word mean? The answer is shemahalach achasicha, that he follows you even with pleasant words. When you're dealing with a donkey, you have to sometimes scream at it that it should follow you. But with a little donkey, it'll follow you even just with calm, pleasant words. Okay, so here the Gemara goes into a piece of Agadah based on this. So Gemara says, Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rav Yechanan, or another girsa here is Amar Rav Yonasan. What's the meaning of the pasuk where it says Al Kain Yoimru HaMoishlim V'Gomer? Gemara is going to dash in all the psukim there, and this is in the end of Parshas Chukas. Simply, the psukim there are speaking about Sichain that conquered the territory of Ammon and Moav. And the Rashbami says all these psukim are extra. Why is it significant for us to know all the details of how he conquered the cities of Ammon and Moav? So the Gemara dashins, what does it mean? Al ken yemru ha-moishlim, ha-moishlim, those that rule, elo ha-moishlim be-yitzram. This refers to the tzaddikim that rule over the Yetzer Hara. And what do they say? Boyu cheshben. Let's make a calculation. Boyu v'nachshoiv cheshben shalaylam. Let's make the calculation of matters in the world. Hefsid mitzvah keneged schara. Look at what you lose when you do a mitzvah. If you spend money on tzedakah or any other mitzvah, what's the gain then? That the schar that you get from this mitzvah. Or schar aveda keneged avseda. When a person gains by whatever he feels good by doing an Aveda, but what do you lose later from doing this Aveda? And when a person makes this kind of cheshbon, tibana v'tikainen, which means if you always make this cheshbon, tipana b'olam hazeh, you will be built in this world v'tikainen l'olam haba, and you'll be kainen. You'll also be built. You'll be structured in the world to come. Ir sichain. Then when it says, what is the ir sichain hinting to? If a person compares himself and he behaves like this little donkey that just goes after pleasant words, so then, in other words, a person is not learning Torah, he's just listening to people speaking about all kinds of things. So then what happens? Maksiv achrov, what does it say after this? Ki eish yotza mecheshben v'goyme. A fire comes out of cheshben, which means teitzei eish, a fire will come out mimechashben, from those tzaddikim that are the ones that make a cheshbon of what's right and what's wrong, and they should be learning Torah. And v'toichal is she'enan mechashbon, and the fire of those tzaddikim will consume those that are not making that proper cheshbon and they're just following a sicha noah. The Rashbamir says that this is connected to what we learned before in the Agadah when it speaks about Lasad Lavai, when the Eibusher will make a chuppah for the tzaddikim, and that chuppah of the tzaddikim will burn nichve mechupas shechavera, or burn the others that didn't learn Torah. Then when the pasuk says "Vaiter lahava mikiriya sichain," a flame of fire from kiriya sichain, here the Gemara actually touches sichain in the positive sense.
This is brought down the Gabe Hayom Habad.
Also, yeah. Okay. Kiryas Sichain means Mikiryas Tzadikim. Here Sichain refers to the Tzadikim. Shenikru Sichin. They're called Sichin. They're like a young tree that's growing properly. So, and then it says in the pasuk Achla that these Tzadikim they consume Ar Mayav. What's this Ar Mayav that they consume? Zeh Hamahalach Achayitzroi. This is an individual that follows his Yetzer Hara. Ka'ayar Zeh Shamalach Achasichana. Like this ayar, the Ar over here refers to this ayar, this young donkey that, as we said before, just follows after people that are talking just words, not in Torah. Bali Bomis Arnoin, and it also the tzaddikim consume those that are Bali Bomis Arnoin. Who are they? Elugasi Ruach. Those that are Bomis Arnoin, they are hoary, they have a Bali Gaiva. The master has said, Kol Odom, Sheyesh Begasas Ruach, any person that is a Gas Ruach, is a hoary person, Neufel Begehenim, he falls into the Gehenim. Then the pasuk says, Vaniram, what does Vaniram mean? Omar Rasha. A Rasha comes and says, Ein Ram, there is no greatness. The Eibusher that's great is not here. Ovad Cheshbon. What does Ovad Cheshbon mean? Ovad Cheshbonai Shalaylam. The calculation of things in the world, the schar and the hefsid, as mentioned before, it's gone, doesn't exist. Then what happens? Ad Divine. What does Ad Divine mean? Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibusher says to these Shoyim, Hamten, you wait, Ad Sheyovei Din, till time of Divine, which refers to Din, the time of judgment will come. And then Vanashim Ad Neifach, which means Ad Shetovei Eish Shein Etzrichen Nifuach. a fire that will come, that will be placed on you, and ad neifach means that it'll be a fire that's already blown up, that you don't even need you don't need to blow it up. Okay, let's just finish here the Agarata on this. Then it says in the pasuk ad meidva that they'll be punished. These Rishayim that say that it's a free for all and there's no cheshbon in the world. Ad meidva means achatavid nishmasan, that the Eibishter will punish them until it'll pain their neshama. V'amri la ad the ovid. Ad the Avid, until the Eibishter will do for them, the boy, what he wishes, what he wants to do for them. And that, what this means is that Rashbamir says that the Eibishter allows the Rishayim to think that they can be successful here in this world, and then in the world to come, then the Eibishter gives them what they are deserving. Amrav Yuda Amarav Kol HaPeirish from Divrei Torah. A person that separates from Torah, a fire will consume him. Shenema, the pasuk says, "V'nasati espane behem," I will put my face towards them, meaning the Eibishter will punish them. Me'a'esh yatsu, from fire they went out, and this refers to Torah. Torah is compared to Eish, and va'esh teichlem, and then fire of Gehenna will consume them. Kiyasar Rav Dimi, Omer Rav Yonasan, Kol HaPeirish atzmai midivrei Torah, a person that separates himself from learning Torah, neifel beGehenna, he falls into Gehenna. Shenem, as the pasuk says, Adam toya miderech haskel, bekahal rafam yenuach, a person that goes away from derech haskel, the ways of Torah, Karafam, which refers to Gehenim, the ain't Rafam Mela Gehenim, Shanema Vala Yoda, Ki Rafam Sham Be Imke Sha'el Krueha. Imke Sha'el, which refers to the place of Gehenim, a person that's not learning Torah.